Hello there, my lovely ghouls. Welcome back to the Slaughterhouse for more horror reviews. I had a pleasant time with Coleman B. Rains last episode discussing a cute little forgotten gem, I will call it. But now I have Liam Banshee. And if I know you well, and I'm sure I do, you've chosen a true classic for us.
Indeed I did.
Ooh, let me think. My chaos senses tell me you've picked from a beloved franchise.
Ooh, very beloved.
Ah, that means it's gotta be a slasher. Which gruesome slasher tale are we going to be treated to?
Freddy's Dead. The final nightmare.
Where the fuck did you find that? I smashed that copy years ago.
I fixed it.
God! God damn it. I don't really need to do an intro for this point anymore.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I really like what you did with the place. The cobwebs, the decor.
Yeah, most
Vintage.
of it I paid for. The other half I stole from my neighbor Fred.
Ah, good old
Which,
Fred.
speaking of Fred, let's talk about Freddy's Dead, the final nightmare. Your choice, you went with a slasher, and
I did go
this
with a
is the one
slasher, knowing me it wasn't a
is the-
good slasher though.
well,
He
I
is
wanna
a
get
great
into
slasher, but his worst.
Yes.
I would say worst. Mine and a lot of people's personal least favorites. I would assume it's not good. I don't have much good to say. I'm gonna be fully honest right off the bat. I got.
See,
I don't
it's
have any
interesting.
positives for this thing.
It's interesting you mentioned that because my feelings, I'm a little bit on the lukewarm side.
Yeah.
Like there are moments in this movie that are, I think, really slick
Oh yeah.
and really cool. But then then the movie decides it's gonna do everything it can to make me hate it, and then I don't quite hate it, but I also don't quite like it. So I just end up kind of coasting on this weird setting of, yeah, that's pretty cool, I guess.
Appreciate it for what it
okay.
can do,
It
or what it could
it's
have been.
I will say it's not a horror movie.
No.
I can say that
Far
for
from
sure.
it.
This is not a horror movie. There's nothing scary in it.
I will say the kills are actually pretty sweet though. Some of them, I will say, are pretty cool.
Let's talk about some positives. For me, the positives lay in the direction, particularly those like seamless set transitions, like when a character, like they're looking one way and then they turn and it's all one cut and everything is suddenly different on the other half of the room. Those things are really cool. Like there was the one girl who sees her father, and then the Freddy glove comes out, and they move the camera, and suddenly he's Freddy, and it's all in camera. And I thought, okay, that's pretty neat. Those are neat little moments. I also think that Robert Englund in this movie, he has some of the best Freddy lines ever. I think this is I don't know what happened, but Robert Englund heard that this is his last time playing Freddy.
I was gonna say.
In theory, they
Spoilers,
ended up lying
but-
to us. But yeah, spoilers. They made 2 more after this, and Freddy's not dead. But Robert Englund, suddenly it's like he feels like he's doing, I don't know, Henry V on Broadway. Like he's just suddenly this is his swan song, because the way he portrays Freddy is with a certain level of serious, not restraint, but it feels like he's doing what he can to go out with the biggest dramatic performance ever as Freddy. And I think that's really cool. It's completely misguided because this is not the movie that you want This movie doesn't deserve what he's offering.
He turns into a full-blown cartoon character in it, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to get into. The only kill I remember, because I think we can agree that's where the positives end, right?
One other thing, which probably I guess goes in line with all the kills and stuff, I will say a lot of the practical effects, like you said, a lot of the set design is very, very good. The weird fair other stuff going on, where all the adults are and stuff, I'm not, it's not really the greatest, but it's very just studio, but I would say, yeah, that's pretty much where it ends. I'd say a lot of the practical stuff is kind of where it is, and where Freddy just goes full-blown lunatic. He is just giving it his all. He is just giving out all the one-liners. That's where he is just at his peak with being the most zany, out-of-pocket fucking kind of character.
My favorite moment in this movie is when he goes down the list of all the things that they've tried to use to kill him over the course of the franchise, and with every mention he just hacks off his finger.
Yes, just like the first movie, it's a little homage.
Yeah, that moment was really fucking cool. I'll be real. Cool. Like that, I think that's it's like how Chucky has his big monologue.
Big monologue in Seed.
Yeah, in Seed of Chucky, when he talks about how he wants to be the ultimate monster icon, and it's that's like the definitive moment you can see. If you're gonna just show someone what it's, if you want to show someone why do people like Chucky, why do people like Freddy, you just show them that scene, and that kind of puts it in perspective. I really like that. But I also like when they go into Freddy's mind, the way they showed it with all of those weird strands, and the idea that was supposed to be a 3D effect. Even though it follows after this horrible thing where it's just his face being zoomed in, and then suddenly.
That's another highlight. That's a really funny moment.
Yeah, but then suddenly you're going through what his brain looks like, and honestly, if I had 3D glasses on, seeing that moment, it's this is actually pretty fucking cool. And you could tell it's practical, it's handmade.
A lot of drugs in your system, too.
Yeah.
Really amplify it.
It was that was the last cool moment I remember happening in the movie before it ended. Oh, no, wait, Alice Cooper also showed up.
I was going to say, Alice Cooper is Pappy.
Yeah, Alice Cooper is the foster dad. Hey, you piece of shit, boy. You fucking...
So funny.
Which is...
Oh, I was also going to say, too, because speaking of rock stars and stuff, you mentioned last time I was watching it, you mentioned Iggy Pop, and he also has a song in this, too, that he did for this.
Oh, he does?
He does.
How did I not notice it? What song is it?
It plays in the end credits. That's probably why.
Oh.
That's probably why you didn't hear
it. Well, that actually
it's not as prominent as Dream Warriors, where it's playing throughout the movie and stuff, or he's back from Friday.
Yeah, it's not the opener song. It just kind of closes it off.
Mm-hmm. And you hear it. Yeah. Yeah, this one's at the end. It's fucking sick, though.
I'll have to check it out, because, I like Iggy Pop, which is so strange. This is now the second time Iggy Pop has come up on the show.
Well, I had to mention that. I was like, you know what? I heard Iggy Pop last time, and I was like, get him on. If we keep if we say his name a third time, he's like Beetlejuice. He'll show up without a shirt, and he'll be all, Freddy's face will show up on his chest.
Yeah, show up with his shirtless 80-year-old self and his messed up hips.
Leathery handbag skin.
Look, the guy's living his best life. He sold the passenger to fucking a cruise line, so he's just raking in money.
Oh yeah,
good for him.
Good for Iggy Pop.
The man made a living doing the thing that parents get upset at your kids for doing, which is saying, fuck you, I want to do what I want. So,
hey man,
you know what my favorite Iggy Pop story is? Because this is much more interesting than what we have to talk about now. Because we already got through all the good stuff. My favorite Iggy Pop story is that he was in a biker bar and he was wearing one of his those tight one-piece ballet unitards.
Oh,
and he's fucking playing for all these Hell's Angels, and they're throwing bottles of beer and food and all this shit. And he just gets on the mic and he goes, You can throw anything you want at me, your girlfriend's still gonna like me more, you jealous cocksuckers.
Ooh. You go, Iggy, man.
Just like,
you go, Iggy.
You have this like skinny fucking guy running around in a tutu, and he's
because he knows
saying,
it's true.
Like, your girlfriend wants me more, you jealous cocksuckers. Like that. If that's not the epitome of what punk rock is,
fucking real.
I don't know what is. Anyways, let's talk about the bad parts of this piece of shit. So, my big thing about it. It's not a horror movie in any shape. Mm-hmm. Even Dream Master, which I don't really remember much of, it at least had creepy, scary moments. But
Dream Master?
Yeah, the one that played after Dream Warriors. It's the one before this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. No one really remembers that one, but...
I was gonna say, that kind of, that kind of threw me for a loop even after watching this one. I was kind of like, I was going through all the lists and stuff, and
that was the one that has Patricia Arquette is the lead role. She's young Patricia Arquette, so it was like early in her career. Ooh. But this movie, the big thing. I mean, I'm just gonna come out and like attack it head on. Like
no fucking sense.
The stoner death.
Oh,
the guy who keeps
the power
weed,
glove.
The fucking power glove.
The power glove.
And he's just like, whoa, I beat my... Which, here's the thing about that movie. There's no background music that entire time. And Robert Englund, it feels like he actually... I don't think he knew they were filming. He was just playing a video game. Because when he says, whoa, I beat my highest score... That's not Freddy talking. It looked like Robert Englund was just saying, like, holy shit, I actually beat my highest score.
You know, I beat my high score.
Like, if it was Freddy, he'd probably be like, whoa, I beat my high score. He just genuinely is like, whoa, man, I beat my high score. Like, he's...
Whoa, I beat it.
And so, yeah, that whole sequence, and when the kid starts, like, hopping up and down like a pogo stick through the halls.
Oh, the sound effects. My God.
Which, here's the thing, I remember like, oh yeah, that was goofy, but I remember it being kind of funny. I forgot about the kid jumping around, like how...
And then you realize how unfunny it is, and you're like, oh...
Well, it's just like,
okay.
You know, this is the same... It's just like, this is the same movie, it's part of the same franchise where they say like, hey, you know how Freddy was born? His mother was raped hundreds of times. Like
hundreds of times. He's the bastard child of 1,000 crazy inmates.
Yeah, 1,000 maniacs, which they say in this movie, and then you have those moments, and it's like, what is going on here? What is happening?
Oh, and one more thing to leave that scene off with, fucking Super Spencer.
Super Spencer!
With all other movies considered, and including this unfortunate mess, you know, like...
It felt rushed.
I gotta give the other ones a little more credit now after this one.
Yeah,
after viewing it.
I mean, Dream Master is very forgettable. I think that also had a pretty lackluster conclusion.
But at least it's not known as horribly as this one is.
Yeah, well, even this one, I don't even think it's that bad. I've seen far worse horror movies than this one.
Well, yeah, but
it's not good.
No,
I do know that. Like, it's not good.
This is like the equivalent of like that Thorn shit in like Halloween, or when Jason Goes to Manhattan kind of thing, you know, like it's just along those timelines of it where it's kind of, they all kind of drifted off and did their own stupid thing for a little bit until realizing where they went wrong and go back on a path they're familiar with and started off with, and you're like, thank you. Even though the remake did not do that, but that's okay.
Yeah, well, you can tell. Yeah, you can tell with this one, like, the returns. I speak of, like, you know, Roger Corman, legendary film producer, rest in peace. He said, like, when he was doing a series of movies, as soon as the returns reached a level where they weren't making a profit, like, if there was, like, okay, we just barely made profit, that's it. That's the end of the series. And that's what this movie felt like. It felt like New Line Cinema was like, okay, Freddy isn't really drawing in as much cash for us. I think it's time to kill him. And they just threw a movie together. Because even when it's done, like when he explodes,
that's another
the movie
positive.
goes on for another 10 seconds. They say Freddy's dead, and they just roll.
Well, yeah, they roll the credits. That head fucking explosion thing is always pretty memorable about this. where his own head comes out of his own head kind of thing.
Oh,
That's just funny as fuck.
Oh yeah, when they loop it over like it's a goddamn YouTube poop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Oh, yep,
And then
she said the
goes,
thing.
Freddy's dead.
Everyone
and then
drinking.
It just rolls credits. It just rolls, and then the movie ends like it's a fucking Shallow movie. Like, you ever seen any Shallow movies? You know, like the villain always ends, and then 5 seconds later they roll credits because it's like, yeah, that's it.
Bye bye.
Like, story's over, done. Get out of here. You don't need no epilogue.
It just ends. Just end already. You know?
Do. That's honestly probably a positive for this movie. Is that as soon
literally
as,
they lived up to the
Freddy's
title.
dead,
They were
just
like,
yeah,
you know what? After he's dead, that's it.
Yeah, there's no just. Yeah, and there's no like cliffhanger teaser like, oh, maybe is he dead?
Well, yeah,
no, it's like,
no,
nope, Freddy's dead, and then just roll
no
credits.
Buster card's
like,
gonna take him
honestly,
at the end like the first one.
It's a. No, there's like a level of finality to it that I actually do appreciate. Like they at least say like, no, this is it. We're closing the chapter.
Well, because
there's no more.
It was what after
and then,
this? It was Wes Craven's New Nightmare, right? And that came out like 3 years after this one.
Yeah, which. Yeah,
no,
and it also is not
so,
even connected
like,
to any of the Friday.
Meta, that's the word, yes. I want you
Yeah.
to do me a favor when you can and watch the first and third one, and then you tell me how.
Well, I watched those last year.
is.
Like I watched all 7 in a month.
Nice.
Last year for Halloween, and yeah, the first one and the third one, like they're in a different league. Yeah.
Right.
I like the second one only because of all the gay stuff. Like there's a lot of homoerotic.
It's a good movie.
Overtones, which is.
Then again, it's also not Freddy's Dead, so I'm fine with that.
The second movie
it's
is
also
actually,
not the remake, so.
Yeah, well, we talk a bit about the franchise where this movie fits in, because, yeah, the first
Nowhere.
one...
It makes no sense.
Yeah, because the first one was like First one was like a genuine horror movie.
It was cool. It was creepy. It was very, very weird.
Yeah, like
Freddy I could imagine being a kid in the 80s and being like, I don't want to go to fucking sleep tonight after hearing about some dream demon, you know? Like, that's just probably fucking terrifying hearing about that.
Especially because they actually made Freddy... He was funny, but he was also fucking scary. You know?
He's funny but intimidating. Like, you know, he knows what he's doing. He knows how much he's fucking with them. You know, like, he's like Pennywise. Like, you know, like, he knows, like, he's toying with them. He knows what he's doing. Fucking, you know, like, him and Pennywise, I think, went to the same college or school. I'm not too sure where they learned their shit from, but
yeah, and I think
I'm pretty sure they had the same teacher.
Yeah, and Art the Clown is kind of like their
yes,
their understudy. Like he just really loves it because it's kind of like what's happening with Terrifier right now is like Art the Clown is he's genuinely hilarious when he's not killing, and then the kills are so grotesque. Like the first Nightmare on Elm Street when that girl is getting murdered and she's like up the walls up on the ceiling, it's actually really fucking it's still
scary.
uncomfortable to watch. It's a very visceral death. Like all the deaths in that movie are really, really visceral, and there's a certain level of Freddy where you are creeped out by him, and he's really like really disturbing. And the second one happens, and all I remember is that there's a lot of there's that horrible scene in the pool where he gets pulled into the real world, and you see like 5'5" Freddy standing among all these teenagers.
Yeah, amongst the crowd. It's so funny.
Oh, he looks so stupid.
It's so funny. He was hunched. He was hunched.
And it looks like, you know, when you see that one drunk guy at a bar starts throwing stuff and people back out, it's like, whoa, hey, we don't want the crazy hobo to shiv us. Here's the killer of dreams and children.
This guy's got 4 shivs on his fingers, and he's ready to fucking...
This old man who has, I don't know, lupus or bad psoriasis. You know, he's coming at us.
He's got pizza face.
Yeah.
He's got fucking pizza face. He's got burnt cheese face on him.
Yeah, the makeup for Freddy's Dead was also pretty bad. It was the time where you looked at me like, that is a mask. That is a cheap Halloween mask. It kind of looked like fan film quality, the makeup, which... I don't know how this movie fared in terms of budget compared to all the other ones, but it seemed like they were definitely rushed.
I know for a fact this one had $34 million, I believe.
$34 million in the budget?
I believe so. The first one only had $1.1 million.
That can't be right.
I'm trying to see.
I'm not gonna say you're a dumbass and you're wrong, but you're a dumbass and you're wrong.
Probably.
Oh my god.
What? What'd I do?
I owe you an apology. The first one had a budget of $1.8 million in 1984 money. Holy fuck, that is low.
I knew it wasn't like
That is
$2 million.
incredibly
I knew
low.
it
I did
wasn't
not know it
anything
cost that
crazy
little.
like that. I knew it was just over $1 million.
Well, to even $2 million, that's an insanely low budget for what that first one looks like. Then the third movie, like Dream Warriors. I mean, that's the one that everybody loves. People,
So fucking dope.
That's like the fan favorite. It is real
Fucking
fun.
right.
Then there's Dream Master, which I think
Master.
which I don't know, I don't remember what happens there. And then apparently there's Dream Child, which I've completely forgotten.
So that's two we can.
I only
off as
remember
forgettable.
Dream Child because I looked it up right before doing this. I'm like, what the fuck, Dream Child? And then we
Don't
have
bring
this
it up.
one, and this one at least it's memorable. At least I remember this one instead of Dream Child and Dream Master. I thought those two. I thought they were
I was
the
gonna
same
say,
movie.
yeah. Like I probably have to give those ones a watch too again soon. Considering, well, I also forgot about them too. But I don't remember them being like awful like this one. Like like I hate using such strong words for it. I just have no other way of really describing it.
Yeah, I mean, if you hated it, you
but-
hated it. I
right?
just know,
No.
like, it's... I don't know, I didn't hate it, but it's the same
At least the
feeling
other
I
ones
have
don't have anything where it's like, oh, I remember it being awful, or
Yeah,
I
and
remember
they
them being a terrible movie. This one I just remember for not being good at all, and especially being a fan of the first few and stuff like that, and seeing kind of where it all took place, or like what transpired. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
It was awful.
and also the tone is off. Because...
Very off.
This...
Very odd,
this-
very weird, and
This distinctly had a few semi-creepy moments, and all the other movies, they tried real hard to maintain a certain tone and
yes,
a certain
this one
vibe.
was all over the place.
Yeah, and, like, the rules were really weird. Like
They were really weird. They changed a lot of stuff from what happens to
everybody.
said characters and everyone. Yeah, like a lot of his powers, abilities. There's things for when they die and stuff, like it's not like the original where the bodies, like are obviously just there, and everyone is like, there to see it and shit. Like, he's fucking dragging bodies with him around. He's like teleporting shit.
It's, yeah.
Also, shout out to his one line fucking with the, like, when he teleports out of there, he's like, it's traveling time. So fucking cheesy, so funny.
Yeah, I just...
So bad.
You could tell, like, they had, like, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks to make a movie, and they're like, screw it. Just the last one.
Just ad-lib it.
What else to make the movie, so we're just gonna make
You've
the
been in
movie.
how many Freddy movies now? Fucking, you know what you're doing. And he's just like, okay.
Yeah, apparently, so when you're 6 movies in, which is hilarious to me, because Friday 13th, once they get to their 6th movie, that's when the series starts getting good. Because everything up until then is just... In my opinion, I think the Friday the 13th movies are awful right up until the 6th one. I think that's when the movie reaches a stride where it's like, okay, this is what you're all about. 7th movie sucks. 6th movie, though, I think that's like...
Yes.
That is the Friday the 13th movie. And like Nightmare on Elm Street, the
Yes, it
movie
is.
is the very first one.
It is.
Like everything that people love about Nightmare on Elm Street, you can find in the 1st and 3rd movie, and everything that people
the
love about
6th
Friday the
movie,
13th, you
yes.
can find in the 6th movie, and everything else. People
I really
just
want
kinda
to
forgot.
take a rewatch on that with you again soon. That movie is such a good fucking...
Yeah, I wish we watched that movie instead of this one, but people don't talk about this one, so someone had
and-
to, right? That's what it was
I
worth
mean-
it. That's why we came here.
We did it so you didn't have to, as someone once said.
Yeah, some guy. I don't know. I think he ended up dying. Rest in pieces, I'm assuming.
Hey, you forgot the power glove!
I think I feel like we've said all we can about this movie.
I don't really think there's much more to say. There's not really. It's
No, you know what? I think when it comes to a movie like this, I feel like the best thing to do is you just give it the same treatment that it gave us. We came here to talk about it, say what our feelings were, and in the end, it's not very good.
Freddy's dead.